Wednesday, April the 4th, 2018, to you. Mr. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is closer to jail. By a 6-5 vote, Brazil's Federal Supreme Court denied his habeas corpus request to remain free while appealing his 12-year 1-month conviction. That decision does not mean that Mr. Lula will be imprisoned. Indeed, he cannot be jailed before April the 10th, the date when the deadline for appealing Judge Mr. Sergio Moro's decision expires. However, the decision signals that jail is the most certain scenario for the former president. Needless to say, the likelihood that Mr. Lula may run for office in the next election is virtually null. Justices Fachin, de Moraes, Barroso, Weber, Lux, and Carmen Lucia voted against Mr. Lula's petition, while Justices Gilmar Mendes, Toffoli, Lewandowski, Marco Aurelio, and Celso de Mello voted in favor. Justice Weber's vote was particularly important, not only because it was viewed as a swing vote, but also because she will preside the Electoral Supreme Court and thus have to determine Mr. Lula's eventual ineligibility. Brazil is increasingly polarized. Indeed, the Supreme Court's decision was followed up by public opinion as if it were a penalty shootout. An 11-hour-long penalty shootout. By the way, Justices Toffoli and Celso de Mello should have employed less time in justifying their votes. Brazilians were too expectant. In my opinion, a different decision on Mr. Lula's request could have set a dangerous precedent, leaving the door open for other politicians to seek a similar outcome. But while Mr. Lula's supporters were protesting against the judicial decision and his opponents were celebrating, Brazilian Army's top officer, General Eduardo Vilas-Boas, tweeted that the army was heedful of its institutional missions and repudiates impunity. Personally, I'm afraid that the ongoing car wash scandal could end up eroding Brazilian democracy. 40% of Brazilians would support a coup. That group constitutes a minority, of course, but Latin American countries have pledged never rely on the armed forces again in their political development. Besides, it is not democracy what is on trial, but corrupt individuals. What happened today in Brazil can show the ability of its institutions to protect a system which ensures freedom for all Brazilians, regardless of how resentful they may be. Democracy is not for angels, but for people, and people have flaws. The world is still on.